Get back to work. Go on.
Hey everybody, Gears here, and over the last several years there are two fundamental questions I always get asked, regularly get asked, at any event that I take the car to. And that is, what am I going to do with the hubcaps, and where are the wings? And I've always said, well, wings, they just wouldn't work out right. And finally I got so sick of the question that I made up a little display that said, wings, they're not really possible. And then I was like, wait a minute, you know what? Something like that could actually work. And when I was working on the back here weeks ago at this point, I figured, you know what? I got this little piece of cardboard. Let's just randomly cut it up, see how it looks, and kind of tack it into place. And it really got me excited right away. I had a bucket that I put in this place. I had one of these blue canisters of propane that happened to be about the right width, and it really adds a lot of dynamic to the car having these back here. Unfortunately, I don't have any way to really show you from a distance because I can only get the camera so far away. So from here, I took this home, and I have a 1/24th scale Captain Cardboard X-Wing model kit, which is based off several of the old Pyros that Industrial Light and Magic blew up during A New Hope. So it's just about as accurate as you can get. There are more accurate kits based off of the Captains. However, I've got an original Captain Cardboard, and that worked out. And one of the so when I started taking some basic measurements, the Captain Cardboard wing was 150 millimeters along the back trailing edge here. And as it happens, a total coincidence, I cut this wing to 25 inches from here to here. Well, 25 goes into 150 6 times, which means 61 millimeters becomes 10 inches. 145 millimeters becomes just shy of 145 millimeters becomes 24, 96 becomes 16 inches, and from that I developed this guy. September 7th, noon is when I finished it. I kind of skipped a lot of the details on the guns because I just wanted to get the basic shape. The wing itself should start thicker at the base, width-wise, and then get kind of thin on a 3-to-1 grade. However, in this case, it's just a single inch going across. And when it's put into place, holy crap, does it look good. And again, I wish I could get you some better beauty shots of how this actually looks. And then with the droid in place, it's just crazy. Beautiful. And this took several days to put together. A lot of the cuts were really simple. I was only going to do something really basic, but as I went along, I started adding more details and doing this and that and the other. And you know, it's not totally accurate to the wing. For example, this panel here should be about twice as thick coming off of the top. This should be a detail that's embedded into this right here. These guys should all be I don't know what you would call that, not corrugated, but similar, and so on and so forth. And the more I did, the more I really wanted to do. And now the trick is going to be finding some materials that are light enough to keep this so one of the next tricks is going to be finding materials of the appropriate sizes that are going to be light enough that it's not going to make the trunk completely impossible to open, yet strong enough to be able to survive traffic, the highway, driving, and all that kind of thing. I'm probably going to be putting brake lights into here, for example. The gun, where's the gun? Here it is. Something like this would be removable so I don't go spearing people on the road. And as long as nothing comes out past the mirrors, it's legit. So the wing can actually come to right about here, which is definitely a good amount of space and size. And it's plenty of room for the other gun with a little bit down the middle. Here, let me try and push this guy over because it is the same correct size. So yeah, if you ignore this little bit of flap here, there'll be that much space going through the middle, so the droid will be visible. If you could see what I'd see, then you'd be probably about as psyched as I am. And again, this wind is so terrible here that I don't want to leave these in any precarious position. So let's move that a little more center. I've been wanting to make this video for so long just so I can finally throw this piece of crud away, because it's pretty useless at this point except as an original memento or sketch, if you will, of what was going to be happening. So these are all the basic measurements that I used. I did a more detailed sheet, which is at home right now. Then even for someone as math challenged as me, the ratios just became simple, as long as I had the calculator, of course. 49 divided by 6 becomes 8. 6 divided by 6 becomes 1. Too simple. In a lot of cases, I did a lot of rounding up or down, so 15 millimeter would come out to 2 point whatever. However, I probably just went with a basic 2 inches of space here to keep it real nice and simple. And using super glue, this is all really solid and stable. The next big concern, apart from coming out widthwise to the car, would be lengthwise. I don't know if I can have, I don't know how far behind the car you're allowed to have something hanging off of it. So I may have to truncate the engine, in which case, instead of 4 inches off the front, maybe I'd go with 3. Instead of 16 inches long, maybe I'd go with 15 or 14. Instead of 14 inches long, well, if I'm taking a couple off of here, maybe I'll do something there. No, I can't mess with the middle simply because of this fixed distance there. Though I suppose I could shrink that just a little, maybe. Instead of 10 inches on this edge of the wing, maybe I could make that 9. Keep it all relative, in which case this would no longer be 25 and that would no longer be 24. Those will have to come in a little. But if I do that, that means I can stick the wing out a little further. So there could be compromises, there's going to be changes, and we're going to see how it'll go when I get there. And of course there's going to be all sorts of details to add, which are only just barely sketched in here. This cone is actually a traffic cone. I got it at the dollar store, cut out the appropriate diameter I needed, and voila, it's very, very simple. At least relatively speaking. So now at this point, I'm not going to paint this. I'm going to bring it around to events. I need to create its partner so that when I go around to event, I can at least display the pair of them at once. On the underside, this will be getting as accurate as it can be as well. So missing right now, well, actually, what is here right now, this is pretty accurate. I didn't think I was going to be doing that part, but essentially it became self-emerging. There's a bit of C-channel here, which gives stability to the wing. There's another one that runs all along here, parallel to the front edge. And there's a detail here, which is actually just a copy of this detail right there. So it's going to be really, really simple to do. Well, simple, relatively simple enough speaking. I do need to buy some cardboard. I do have a lot of scrap boxes on hand. However, for the wing, I want a really nice fresh piece, no wrinkles, no pre-existing flaws or anything like that. And yeah, the only thing I really need to worry about is the weight eventually. How I could make a fiberglass version of this, I have no idea. What I'm going to be making the wing out of, I have no idea at this point. Cardboard obviously won't last very long exposed to the elements, even here in Los Angeles. some kind of sheet aluminum, some C-channel for the edges maybe. We'll see how it goes. That is something not for today. It's a project for much, much later. So I'm really excited about that portion, and that'll be, this gun will be its own series when it comes down to it, and I start doing some more work on it. All the tubes were just found on hand. They're close, they're not exact, so the exact proportions of everything may look a little off, and that's why. So for example, this tube is probably close to 4. This tube is probably close to 3 inches. It should be like 2.8, close enough. And if that's 2.8, then this should be different, this should be different, that should be different, and so on. And yeah, that is where this part of the project stands. So the next video will be a little while away. Thanks for watching. See you. And here is the wing, fully assembled, as it were. The gun, as you can see, will come out just to the rear window, right about. I'm going to have this as forward as possible, so there's as little hanging off the back as possible. And obviously there are 2 wings that would be missing, the ones that go down the bottom. In that case, what I would do is recreate the barrel and have it attachable somewhere down here and detachable for events only. And the edge of the turkey feathers and the afterburners that would stick out normally, I'd essentially cut some holes in the back of this guy and put them there. And those would probably be permanently mounted. It'd be nice to put some brake lights in there and so on, but we'll see about that. I wish I could set this up for you, but the wind is just too strong, and there's just no other way for me to get as far away as I would need to be able to show this and exactly how it would work. It looks like it'd come out to right about there with the mirror. There would be a bit of overhang going on, and there would definitely be a few inches coming off of the back. So I think that's it for today. Thanks for watching. See ya.